perhaps Min would be alive right now. So all the blame was shifted towards them.
And let's not forget the tank, bro. The big dude. He sold out Byung so bad. This nigga talking about, oh, we got the best healer in the guild. We got the best S rank healer. You can cut off all our limbs. You can kill us even. He gonna bring us back. You killed him. Biru did not kill Byung. That nigga did with his mouth.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
He got him killed because he was yapping too much.
No. Wait.
Alright. The title of this video is Solo Leveling Season 2 Extra Cut Content, the full aftermath of the Jeju Island raid.
So here we are on the last episode of cut content for
by
Season 2,
AniNews.
and what we have is a lot. Even if you set aside the scenes with America, which will no doubt be in Season 3, the full aftermath of the Jeju Island raid was pretty extensive. From Sung being treated like Superman to an emotional meeting with Min's mom, the whole arc is brought to a close rather nicely. So, if you want to know Korea's full reaction to what's essentially Sung's debut, then stick around because it's actually pretty interesting. Since this is the last episode though, I just want to say thanks again for all the support this season, and if you do plan on sticking around, there'll be plenty of content for ReZero, Danmachi, and Overlord next. If that's
Cool.
though, then I guess I'll see you again when Season 3 comes around. But anyway, let's start things.
AniNews, I am watching ReZero, bro. Like, I think I'm on episode 3 of Season 4? Season 3? Is this Season 3? I can't remember what season it is, but the most recent one. I just gotta edit the video because the first episode was a whole hour long, pretty much. And I think the second one too, was it not? Like, bro, I was like, damn, the episode long. But you know what? We gonna make it work. And then we gonna check out AniNews' videos.
Things off the moment Sung finished up his business at Jeju Island. This is where the novel gives us a whole lot more, since he would fly Kaisel back to Korea, then land his dragon right on the doorsteps of the Hunter Association. It was a spectacle that brought many of the Monitoring Division hunters outside ready for a fight. It was when they saw it belonged to Sung though, that's when they would greet him as they would any other S-rank hunter. So, Sung would request to meet Chairman Go,
Showed up with that aura.
Person would have been denied instantly. Like, even the most prominent ministers of government had to wait at least a week before they could talk to him. This, however, was Sung Jinu, and based on what he had just accomplished, it was more than likely the chairman was dying to talk to him. One of the association hunters would call the chairman just to confirm, then proceed to inform Sung that he was at the hospital monitoring the situation with Cha. So, if we switch over to what was happening there, the doctor we
She can
saw
smell that nigga a mile away.
before was now checking up on Cha to make sure she was okay.
Bro, I seen a video on IG, like, this dude, everybody was like cosplaying, like talking about the show. I gotta find it. The dude, he was like, one guy comes up, he's like, I just cleared the blah 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 dungeon, this that, and then Chairman Go is like sitting there like, oh yeah, cool, that's nice, and then Sung Jin Woo comes up, he's like, I just took a shit. And then Chairman's like, Sung Jin Woo! Yes! Yes, Sung Jin Woo! It's like glazing for no reason. Glazing for no reason.
As bad as things looked on TV, he was shocked to see she had recovered perfectly. Where before she had a poor complexion due to crazy hemorrhaging,
Nah, she got
now
PTSD.
she seemed just fine.
She got
It was a
PTSD now,
stark
though.
contrast to what he was expecting. Now, while the chairman did know how it was Cha turned out this way, that was information he decided to withhold.
Dang, bro, look, she for real lost her organs.
Sung's power wasn't something he would willingly spread like that. No. Instead, he decided to say it was the work of the 2 A-rank healers he had at the helipad. That being the case, so far everyone that knew about the true nature of Sung's abilities also knew to keep it a secret. It was then that the doctor would bring up Sung for a different reason, revealing how his mother was a patient at their hospital. This much the chairman knew already, so he immediately thought the doctor was gonna say she finally succumbed to her eternal sleep disease. What he said instead though was the exact opposite. He would explain to the chairman that Sung's mother actually woke up from it. The chairman's doctor wasn't in the know at first, but when the raid happened and Sung appeared on screen, a lot of the higher-ups who did started bringing it up again. The chairman would then hear about it from him, and that's when he would start piecing together an answer to the question that was plaguing him earlier.
Sung Jin-woo! This dude, he's like on the edge of his seat, dude. This is so funny, dude. Sung Jin-woo! It's so fucking funny.
It was once he heard this awakening happened
God.
only 5 days ago that now the chairman finally understood why Sung refused to participate in the raid. Back when he was watching, he couldn't quite piece it together, but knowing this and the fact his dad went missing in a gate almost a decade ago, it made sense why Sung wouldn't want to leave his mother to participate in the most dangerous raid Korea's faced ever. It was 2 massive reasons the chairman couldn't help but feel careless for not recognizing sooner. In fact, it actually made him appreciate what Sung did for them even more now. He had shown once again just how rare of a person he was. It was then that an association employee would inform the chairman about Min's mother, specifically how they couldn't get into contact with her. It was an expected response considering how she learned of her son's death through the TV. Not only that, but she had also called the association herself to confirm whether it was true or not. So, Min's mother was already well aware of her son's tragic fate, and she was now prepping for a funeral that wouldn't even have his body. If you remember from what I said last video, I know the anime shows the S-ranks extracting with it, but in the novel they couldn't since it was too dangerous. Min's body was still at the island lost in the ant tunnels. It's for this reason the chairman decided to go see her in person, but not before meeting with Sung first. Normally, Min's mom would have been the priority, but when a person like Sung says he's trying to get in contact, the chairman knew he better make the arrangements. Now, for Sung, who was waiting for the chairman's arrival, he was being treated far differently from the last time he was here. Where before the employees didn't really know him, now they were treating him like royalty. Even the chairman himself expressed more consideration than usual because at the moment Sung was the person who deserved respect the most. So, first, the chairman would inform Sung he knew what happened in the tunnel, followed by a statement saying he knew how he got there too. Only the former point was accurate though, since for the latter, Chairman Go assumed it was explained via Kaisel.
Yeah, bro, like how you gonna say you know? Like, your knowledge is very limited to what you know about his abilities. Yeah, you saw Kaisel, but Kaisel ain't that fast. Kaisel is not that fast. But that's a good excuse. It is a good excuse to use, because I would just straight up be like, yeah, I was on Kaisel. Like, he got an ability where he can kind of like get there, like, you know, pretty quick, you know, a little bit of time, you know. But lo and behold, they don't even know that he could literally just teleport.
After seeing Sung arrive on the back of Kaisel here, the chairman just assumed that's how he got to Jeju there. Sung saw no need to reveal yet another part of his ability, so rather than correct the chairman for being mistaken, he simply nodded his head since that to him would make flying around on Kaisel a whole lot easier. Now the people would know the dragon flying in the sky belonged to him. As for why Sung wanted to talk to the chairman himself, well, that was to simply inform him that every ant on the island was dead now. He was essentially giving the chairman the green light to proceed with whatever operations came next. This was news the chairman was only shocked by for a little bit, since when he remembered how Sung had hundreds of summons to fight for him, the thought of clearing the island didn't seem so impossible anymore. He figured them combing the island would result in its extermination a lot faster than anticipated. So, this is how the chairman knew he could send a team in, and that's how he managed to retrieve Min's body for the funeral. Before, the loss of Min's body was a tragedy that weighed heavily on him, but now that he knew Min's body was salvageable, words couldn't describe how grateful he was. This brings us now to what I would have considered an iconic scene, since it really hammers home the impact Sung had on the country. You see, it was after the meeting that the chairman would offer Sung a ride home with one of the association cars. To Sung, this was just another typical display of gratitude, but what the chairman intended for it was something far greater. I mean, he was well aware Sung could easily fly home on Kaisel or even run there faster, but in the process that would ignore one of the most important aspects of being a top-ranked hunter. It would ignore the people who've come to adore him. What people might I be talking about? Well, before Sung had arrived, barely anyone was at the association, but in the time it took for them to finish their conversation, a huge crowd had gathered, leaving no openings at all. Every single person had come solely for him. It wasn't just reporters or members of the press either, but also regular people too.
That man got motion. That man got motion. That's what they said. He the most sought after hunter in the world, even. Because remember, they had All Might looking for him too. This nigga All Might came all the way from America to Korea to meet him, and Chairman Go was like, I don't know, fam. I don't know where he at. You probably find him before I do.
Wanting to glimpse the person who saved their country. There was one single headline which suggested the shadowy dragon at the association was Sung's, and that was all it took for the news of his location to spread like wildfire. It was enough of a rumor to bring droves of people wanting to see whether what the article supposed was true or not. It was when Sung saw just how many people were there for him that all sorts of emotions welled up inside him. It was the first time he'd experienced anything like this. And though Sung didn't fully understand it at the moment, the chairman helped him by explaining how this was what their country was looking for. You see, as the only country on Earth to lose part of their land to monsters, what Korea needed now more than ever was a victory. For 2 years, their people had been enduring endless humiliation from across the globe. Combine that with the fact Jeju Island wasn't raidable without the help of others, and what you get is a population filled with doubt in their own country's capabilities. Now, they weren't necessarily wrong for thinking that, but that perception did a complete 180 when Sung showed up. With the mighty Japanese retreating and their own hunters on the brink of losing, Sung swooped in to dissuade the country's feelings of powerlessness. He alone poured courage back into those who were watching. So, in a way, he was exactly what the country was looking for when they needed it. He was a hero that those lucky enough to witness on TV now wanted to see in person. So, though Chairman Go knew Sung could easily get home just by flying, he advised against it since he knew better than anyone the people needed to see their hero. It was advice that would lead to a scene very reminiscent from this one in Batman vs. Superman. Sung would exit the building to a crowd in awe, and not a single person would proceed to say anything. They would simply stare in silence, taking in the hero in front of them. Wu and the other agents would then clear a path for Sung, all with the exception of one single old man. It was the grandpa you may recognize from this scene here.
I remember.
An old man wanting to bear witness to their son's avenger. Here he was right in front of Sung, tears streaming down his face as he expressed gratitude. He was thanking Sung for finally granting his son a proper rest. Sung would respond by saying it was simply what had to be done, then proceed to the car where the crowd would follow. It was while leaving that everywhere he looked, people's heads would lower out of respect for him. They were greetings he knew were filled with genuine appreciation. It was by the time Sung could see the crowd no longer that's when he'd realize how fast his heart was beating. He was finally coming to terms with what exactly he accomplished. So, where before he was reluctant to parade himself in public like that, now he was kinda glad he did. To him, every gaze was a proper reward for a job well done. It was once reality came crashing back down that Sung would remember the state he left his mom in. As it turns out, he had actually just straight up broke their TV here. It was also his mom wouldn't find out he was a hunter yet. So, checking his phone would reveal 13 missed calls from home, followed by a crazy amount of discourse about him online. With what was essentially his public debut now complete, people were expressing their thoughts on it endlessly. They were discussions exactly like the ones you'd expect to find in the—
I thought it was impossible to summon the mini beasts. Watching Sun Jin Woo's beast fight the ants cured my 10-year battle with cancer. Huh?
weekly episode reviews on Reddit.
That was
One
awesome.
such
I
topic
guess they're
was
just,
one
you
you'd
know.
see in almost every post,
I lost
since
my
it was a debate
parents
that
4
begged
years
the
ago in
ultimate
Jeju.
question of how strong he was. Some
Okay.
suggested as
No, he's
strong
not that
as
good. You
national
need to chill
level,
out.
while others called them crazy for even thinking that. Naturally, there was criticism as well, since just like in the anime, many blamed him for the death of Min. For a while, no reason was given as to why Sung showed up late, but eventually the—
And you see it, bro. It's like them niggas. Like, I know it's just a, you know, it's just a mile. It's just a TV show, you know. But they got people like this. There are real people like this. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody can risk their life for somebody else or a stranger, you know what I'm saying? Or like rescue 15 kids from a burning building. And then someone is going to bitch because you weren't there 2 minutes like prior to save one child, you know what I'm saying? Like if you saved like 12 children and one of them passed away, you'd be like, "Oh, but he didn't get one. He failed." Bro, they really got people that think like that. You know, yeah, it's unfortunate that everybody couldn't make it, you know. Byung couldn't make it. Like I said, Sung was with his family. He got his mama back, you know what I'm saying? He don't have his dad. He got his mama back. Let him spend some time with his family, you know? But they ain't gonna understand shit like that. He be like, "Oh, well, I can spend time with my family." Bitch, well, you ain't got the same circumstances as Jinwoo, bro. And you ain't no S rank. You probably ain't even a hunter at all. So you gonna have this opinion about another hunter when you couldn't even do shit. You, instead of sitting here like Twitter fingers, why don't you go to Jeju Island, huh? Well, why don't you go to Jeju Island?
The association did post an article about it. They simply mentioned how Sung was kept behind due to inexperience. As a hunter who was only a couple weeks ago the E rank, it made sense to call Sung a reserve member intended only for emergencies. This obviously wasn't the truth, but it was enough to at least convince the public. It was the best the chairman could do to ease the criticism pointed towards Sung. It also kept his true reasons away from the spotlight. This, however, turned all that criticism towards the association, since it perpetuated the idea that had they gauged Sung's abilities properly to begin with, then perhaps Min would be alive right now. So all the blame was shifted towards them.
And let's not forget the tank, bro. The big dude. He sold out Byung so bad. This nigga talking about, "Oh, we got the best healer in the guild. We got the best S rank healer. You can cut off all our limbs. You can kill us even. He gonna bring us back." You killed him. Biru did not kill Byung. That nigga did with his mouth. He got him killed because he was yapping too much.
No. Wait. Wait.
Yes, it may be at the expense of the association, but at least now Sung was well on his way to becoming the most famous hunter in the country. No longer were people blaming him for slacking off, and now they were instead focusing on his accomplishment. Fast forward now to Min's funeral, and while initially intended to be this small private ceremony, it ended up being public due to the sheer number of people that wanted to pay their respects to him. Countless people showed up to honor his sacrifice. Excitement grew when Sung showed up himself, but that wasn't something Sung thought to be very respectful. Normally, he wouldn't care that people were looking or talking about him, but now was neither the time nor place for it. So, in order to bring things back to the solemn way it was, Sung would unleash the most minuscule portion of magical energy he could. It was an amount so tiny you couldn't even consider it a portion, but it was still more than enough to bring that mood back. Anyone yapping was now silent again. It was then that Min's mother would approach Sung herself, not to scold him like how everyone thought, but rather to thank him in person for what he did for her. You see, as the one who personally invited him to be here, she wanted to express her gratitude in person. Reason being that it was all because of Sung that Min's body could return back home to her. Had Sung...
Hey, I don't know how y'all would feel about this, but let me know what y'all think, right? Would you have kept Byung's shadow, or would you kept Min's shadow and asked his mom, would you like to see him one more time before I release him? You know? Would you do that for her? Is that a good idea? You know what I'm saying? Because it's still him. Essentially, it is still him. We saw it. We saw how he smiled at Beck when he got released. You know what I'm saying? I'm cooking. I just want to know if you would like to see him one last time before I release him. Because, you know, everybody else, like Beck got his closure. You know, he got to see him before, you know, he was gone. I would have done that for his moms, too. You know?
Sung not cleared the island as fast as he did, then there was a chance Min's body may have never been recovered. So, though Sung's reasons for killing the ants may not have been entirely that, ensuring Min could make it home was at least part of it. He didn't like the idea of his corpse rotting away forgotten in the darkness of the ant tunnels. This was a service Min's mother would be eternally grateful for, since with his help, she was able to see her son one last time.
Okay, alright, yeah, I guess. I thought they just left the body there. I didn't know that he had retrieved it back. But, you know, it still doesn't change what I said. Like, yeah, she gets to see the body, but the body's lifeless. If she were to see the shadow, see him smile, or maybe even cry, and then she realizes that it really is him, and then she can say her last goodbyes to him, he'll have that closure too. Because let's say God forbid, you know, like, you're on your deathbed, you know what I'm saying? Like, you probably give anything to see your loved ones one more time. You know what I'm saying? You probably give anything, you know? If you know it's your time and you knew that there was something preventing you from seeing the ones you love, you give anything to see them one more time.
Now, it was by the time she was done saying what she wanted to say that now she would be shedding tears all over again. It was an emotional sight that would remind Sung of his own mom. He would envision her face overlapping with Min's mom's, leading to a lump in his throat that would choke him up a bit. The expressions and emotions she was displaying now were far too similar to the ones his own mom had when their dad went missing. But just like how his dad sacrificed his life to save numerous people, so did Min to save his fellow hunters. So while his fate was definitely tragic, it was helpful to know Min's sacrifice wasn't in vain. Now, if you're wondering what the final numbers for the raid were, there were 4,801 hunters called to arms, along with 727 awakened civilians who volunteered alongside them. 64 of them ended up dying, while 32 civilians were lost in the aftermath. So, while this was certainly a pretty high number, it was actually the least amount of casualties out of all the raids. Let's wrap things up with Sung finally back at home, where we find out the discussion with his mom went well. Though news of him being a hunter was certainly shocking, she didn't object to it, as that was what Sung expressed as being the profession he wanted to keep pursuing. Yes, she was worried given what happened to their dad, but so long as Sung didn't push himself too hard, then she was okay with it. That being the case, in the end his goal would be the same it always was: survival. So, given the biggest obstacle of permission was clear, nothing was stopping Sung from establishing his own guild now. He could finally monopolize high-rank dungeons and level up without worry. It was then that he'd remember the mystery item unveiled at level 100, which, if you blinked, then you probably missed it in the anime. I won't say any more than that, but I thought it cool that they decided to hint at it here. I'm sure you'll recognize this as a core component for the plot of Season 3. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the season. I hope you enjoyed this series of cut content, and I hope to see you soon in some of my next videos. If you want to subscribe, then that'd be great too, since we're getting close to 700,000 now. Oh yeah! If you want to come hang out in the community Discord, I've been told that we're looking for new members. So the link to that will be down in the description. But anyway, until next time, ciao!
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! It's become a ritual to watch and skip content videos after every episode to enhance my appreciation for Solo, leveling tenfold. See you in Season 3, if not sooner. That's true. Yeah, I sure did. I had no idea what you got. I crashed out so hard on one of the week's cliffhangers that it read the entire manga in a single night, but still watched the goats videos. Yeah, bro, cut content, my dog. Like, they keeping you in a good spot by, like, you know, cutting out backstory and then having AniNews fill in the blanks, fill in the gaps, because, you know, I like knowing the backstory. I like knowing a little bit more of what's going on, you know?